Well, no doubt in France, thousands of football fans are gathered at the fan zone in Paris, and we're getting you some live pictures of that now. Well, as you can see, an ocean of people waving French flags. Certainly no end to the support shown for the French national team. Well, the fan zone is in front of the iconic Eiffel Tower with giant TV screens all over. The celebrations have spilled out into the streets of the iconic City of Lights. At the zone, there's space for a whopping 90,000 spectators amid tight security. France last won the World Cup 20 years ago in 1998. No doubt these celebrations will continue into the night. Well, let's get to you more now on that story. I'm joined live from Moscow by our correspondent, Dan Williams. Dan, the final whistle has been blown. Just talk us through this incredible World Cup final.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable tournament. We really had a final to reflect that. Very memorable indeed. The match, as you say, finished 4-2 to France. Fabulous effort from them. But really, you have to say, Croatia probably sitting in the sitting room now wondering what quite happened out there. They played such great football. Of course, the first goal, an own goal first in a World Cup final. The second goal for France, excuse me, the second goal for France in controversial manner through the video assistant referee. And France really finding themselves fortunate, really, to have a 2-1 lead at half-time. The game, as it went on, became stretched. That allowed France really to perhaps put the pedal down a little bit in that second half and to give themselves some daylight. It looked like they would actually run ragged before Croatia came back with a consolation goal, as it turned out, to make it 4-2. But a remarkable final, really, 6 goals in a final, really fabulous play, really memorable as well. A word about Kylian Mbappe as well. He becomes the first teenager since Pelé to score in a World Cup final, just the second teenager to do such a thing, and for him really announcing himself at this tournament as being a player not just for now but for the future. And for France, well, they of course now become just the 6th nation to win this World Cup more than once.
Absolutely, and Mbappe, the most talked about 19-year-olds tonight. When it comes to Croatia, as you say, an amazing performance. It's not quite the underdog story ending that people were hoping for. In your view, Dan, were they just unlucky tonight, or did fatigue play a part?
Well, of course, I mean, you have to wonder, had perhaps Croatia not played those 3 periods of extra time and the penalties in those 2 other games, what kind of performance we might have expected from them. It could have been even better, because they really took the game to France, especially in that first half. They really looked the sharper team, the team really with all the energy in the world, and really it was France that looked very flat-footed. So you kind of say that perhaps it didn't play too much of a role, but you do wonder, as I say, as to what would have happened, what kind of performance would have been had they been even fresher. So you have to hand it though to Croatia. What a performance it has been at this World Cup. The story, really, the way that this country of just 4 million people to reach the final against all the odds, and really showing their quality on the world stage. Their fans will no doubt be hugely disappointed given what they saw in that final, but at the same time hugely proud of their team, once again showing real heart in that final.
And of course, with France being crowned champions, Russia 2018 officially comes to an end. It's already been billed as successful as far as the FIFA president is concerned. But Dan, what were the highlights of this tournament?
Just so many to even trying to kind of put it into words really, but of course, I mean, this has been a memorable World Cup. There's no doubt about it. It's run operationally very smooth, but we've also just had those memorable games as well, and that really is what these World Cups are all about. Fantastic goals, so many last-minute goals as well. Remember Cristiano Ronaldo against Spain. Remember the way that Germany came back against Sweden, England against Tunisia. There were just so many last-minute goals that really had such a bearing on this tournament, and of course all those shocks early on in the tournament. I heard one critic say that the problem with this tournament is that we didn't really have a heavyweight semi-final, the likes of, say, Germany up against Argentina, but that's because we had those shocks earlier on as well, and that really opened the path to have this fabulous story of Croatia get to the final. And they've just, as I say, so many great games. Japan versus Belgium, Japan 2-up, Belgium come back to win. Just the list goes on, and of course VAR, the introduction of VAR has really changed the face of football. Of course controversial today, but so many other decisions really providing what the future of at least international football will look like going forward. So a really memorable tournament, and I think that despite all the controversies, Russia 2018 will really be remembered for many of the right reasons, and that is really the football on the pitch.
And indeed, and of course now they hand over to Qatar for 2022. Thanks so much, Dan Williams.